Well, good evening and welcome to tonight's KNKX virtual studio session. I'm John Kessler, host of All Blues, and our special guest tonight is Marcia Ball. Tonight, we're going to spend about 45 minutes or so hanging out with Marcia, hearing her music and chatting a bit. And I want you at home to be a part of this too. So feel free to ask questions or make comments. On Zoom, use the chat button at the bottom of the window to make your comments. Tonight, we'll also be talking with Marcia about two organizations that are near and dear to her heart, HOME, Home Housing Opportunities for Musicians, and HAAM, the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. After Marcia's performance, watch the slideshow to find out how you can support them. Well, if you're here tonight, you probably already know how great Marcia Ball is, but I want to brag on her just a little. With her unique blend of roadhouse boogie, swampy blues, and R&B, she's been nominated for 5 Grammys, literally dozens of blues music awards, been on David Letterman, The Today Show, played at the White House. She's an official Texas state musician in the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame and the Austin City Limits Hall of Fame. Okay, I'll stop. You get the point. But most of all, Marcia is a wonderful person and has been a great friend to KNKX. Her latest album, Shine Bright, has been in heavy rotation since it came out a couple of years ago. She's done 5 studio sessions with us. In fact, the last one was exactly 1 year ago to the day, February 12th, 2020. Wow. Yeah, wow. Things have changed since then. So maybe we can't be together in person, but we're going to connect with you tonight with this session. And so we welcome Marcia Ball. We understand over a thousand people have registered to see this tonight.
I heard. Thank y'all. Hey.
So yeah, we may not be able to hear you applaud, but in your own way, please make welcome from Austin, Texas, Marcia Ball.
I can feel you dancing out there. Well, I'm going to start with a song that Shelley King and Tim Cook wrote, and let me help out a little bit. So we kind of a co-write all together. And because of the season, it's carnival time. So this song is called When the Mardi Gras is Over. You know when you leave Mardi Gras, right? When
Tell me.
When it's over.
Okay.
It's a beautiful day. Sirens calling, time to get started. Meet me down at the parade. Sad little sister, throw me something, mister. Got to find me some shade. Yeah, you're right, this is living. It's as good as it gets. I gotta fly, but I'm not ready yet. Standing on the neutral ground. Second line drumming, I hear them coming. Lord, how I love that sound. Gotta leave soon, but all afternoon we're eating crawfish by the pound. Yeah, you're right, it's a beautiful sight. I'll be there when the last float rolls. When the Mardi Gras is over. That's when I'll go home. Me, I'm a-looking for excuses to stay. I'm stalling, real life is calling me west of the Pontchartrain. Lord, I know I don't want to go. There must be a way. Yeah, you're right, this is living. It's as good as it gets. Gotta fly, I'm not giving up on All right. Well, I'm going to do another one right in a row. Okay, John?
Sounds good.
Okay, it's another New Orleans-based song. I wrote this. It's kind of the story of my mother's life in a way. My mother grew up on a sugarcane plantation down around Thibodaux, Louisiana. And I was going to write a song called Boogie a long time ago and got in the middle of it, and it turned out to be a whole different song. It turned out to be Watermelon Time. So then, because a song will do that to you. So this one now finally is about the sugar and the life. And one of my favorite at the end where I talk about the candy man in that white trailer that they sell that taffy in New Orleans. They did that, it's probably since 200 years now, still going on.
Nice.
Way down south at harvest time, people up and down the line smell that kettle piping hot. Just a little bit will hit the spot. Put it in your coffee, put it in your tea, sprinkle on your pastry, cook it up and melt it down, serve it white or serve it brown. A little sugar, yeah, a little sugar makes your day complete. A little sugar, yeah, a little sugar, it ain't nothing but sweet. And if you're down and need to pick me up, put a teaspoon in your cup. And if it is romance you seek, give it to your mama right on the cheek. A little sugar, yeah, a little sugar, make your day complete. Just as thick, red and white like a peppermint stick. You can keep your mustard greens. Pass me those pecan pralines. And now you hear that music, it's the taffy man. Here he comes, money in the hand. That candy love to eat. Love that candy love to eat. A little sugar, yeah. A little sugar makes your day complete. Sugar, yeah, a little sugar, it ain't nothing but sweet. Little sugar, yeah, a little sugar, make your day complete. A little sugar, yeah, a little sugar, it ain't nothing but sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm clapping for 1,000 people right now.
Thank y'all. I can feel you dancing.
All right. Marcia Ball live here in a special KNKX virtual session with a sugar boogie, and also did one of her tunes when the Mardi Gras is over. Wow. This is the next best thing to being there is being here with you tonight. So I want to,
thank you.
Yeah, it's just so great.
And there's not going to be much of a Mardi Gras, and it's probably maybe the best possible year to not have much of a Mardi Gras because it's going to rain all weekend and be cold. And then on Carnival Day, on Mardi Gras Day, it's going to be like 28 degrees or something. I've been to a cold Mardi Gras, and it's cold.
Yeah. Well, we're about to have a big snowstorm up here. They're saying 4 to 8 inches of snow in the Puget Sound region. So we're real excited about it. So, well, yeah, well, later on, I want to talk to you about some of the things you're involved in Austin. But first, let me ask you just a little bit about Boogie Woogie Piano. We just did sort of a boogie tune there. Boogie Woogie is a style that you're well known for. And from what I've read, it's a style that started in Texas, maybe in the late 1800s. What
yes, do you? Yeah, they say around Marshall, Texas, up in northeast Texas. And in the 20th century, there's a guy named Dave Alexander who's actually from Marshall. Who was one of the for well, one of the more famous guys from that area. But they've been playing that kind of piano. Um, it was the barrel house piano. It was the lumber camps and the railroad camps and the oil patch and the seaports. I did a boogie woogie thing just last week for the Arches stage in Cincinnati, part of the Cincinnati Blues Festival, and they do a big thing every year. They have the Boogie Woogie Hall of Fame there,
Mm.
And I played a song from an old LP that I've had forever that I'd always wanted to learn from one of those guys from the early 20th century. It's called West Dallas Drag, and it's really more of a stride than a boogie woogie.
Right.
But
There's a lot of different figures that the left hand does.
yeah,
So as I hear it, and I'm no musicologist, but it seems like that it was kind of one of the things that led to rock and roll. If you think about the guitar playing that left hand figure, isn't that kind of one of the bridges into rock and roll?
yes, I would definitely say so. And some people bridge that gap, like Johnny Johnson with Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
You could hear him playing that stuff, and yeah, the boogie woogie beats are rock and roll beats, and definitely predecessors to rock and roll.
Nice. Yeah, I had very lucky, had a chance to do a recording session with Johnny Johnson with Steve Ferguson back in the 90s. And yeah, what a doll. He was just a gem of a guy.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about Austin for just a few minutes. Austin is one of the most musical cities in the United States. It's been a magnet for musicians for decades. Can you tell me, first of all, what it's like to be a musician in Austin right now? Are venues closing? And then I want to hear about Home and Ham.
Okay. Well, Austin has changed profoundly, and let me just say that I've been here for 50 years now. Oh my God. And so of course it has, but I wouldn't really wish this kind of change on any sweet college town, which it was when I got here. That the way it's now, it's a major city, it's a big city, and its personality is being submerged by tech and money and growth, and it's hard for musicians now, unfortunately, in Austin because of the price of living here, the cost of living. So, but that's not to say that there aren't just so many of them and so many clubs, and some of them have closed in the pandemic. Some have changed hands. Some have hunkered down, the ones who are fortunate enough to be able to kind of close their doors and figure out in some cases, some virtual stuff to do. Some are open in partial ways, like Anton's has had some distanced gigs with, expensive tables far apart and entertainment like Gary Clark Jr. or
Nice.
Jimmy Vaughn and people like that. So there's all manner of things going on here. And then there's, I know in every community, I actually first heard about it in New Orleans, the drive-in shows.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing some of those here too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's cool. And major artists are coming to do that here in the big venues. The only one I've done, and really it's the only live gig I've done in all this time, was a political thing, and it was a drive-in.
Oh, okay.
With Ruthie Foster.
Did people honk their horns? Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Must be a weird cacophony there. So let's talk a little bit, just so let some folks know about about Home and Ham and what you're doing for musicians in Austin. Housing opportunities for musicians is Home. What's that about?
Musicians and entertainers, although it's but only because that's how you spell home.
Right.
But what we do is Home helps older musicians over 55. And in many cases, our clients are also dealing with health problems. And so we have a criteria of low income, and of course everybody has been hit by the pandemic, to a double whammy. And we actually raised a lot of money during this time. People have responded to charitable outreach during this time incredibly generously. So we raised quite a bit of money, and in fact, what we usually do is we pay rent and utilities for some artists. And right now we have about 22 clients
Some of them are long-term ongoing, forever, as long as we can do it. And some are 6 months, or we're hoping to continue that as we raise more money. So,
Wow.
But we also did a bunch of emergency grants. We had people who said, can you help some people out right now? And we put out a call, and we gave out a whole bunch of $500 just emergency, some money.
Yeah, no, we helped you with your Home for the Holidays event back in
You did,
December.
and it was very successful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And
Yes.
so what about HAM, the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians?
Now, HAM started before Home, and it's very well established. And what they do is they provide access to health care for musicians. And it's interesting because I'm on the board of HAM as well as the board of Home, and they're an incredibly well-run, sophisticated, good board and good
Wonderful.
staff. And they help over 2,000 at this point, over 2,000. And the mandate changed a little bit when the Affordable Care Act came in, because it meant that, people could actually get navigated onto the Affordable Care Act, which was better really than basic HAM, because basic HAM, it means you could go to the clinic in Austin.
Right.
But with Affordable Care Act access, you can, if you're traveling on the road and you need help, you can go, you have insurance basically.
Okay.
But,
Okay. Well, in the
slideshow
following this performance, there'll be information about how you can support Home and HAM. And I wanted to talk about that just because I think they're great examples of how local people can help their local musicians. In Washington State, the Washington Blues Society sponsors something called the Musicians Relief Fund. You can find out more about that at wablues.org. And the main thing is, please support your local musicians. In this pandemic, we're realizing how important arts and culture really are to our society, how much we miss it, and how much we need it to support and sustain. We need to support and sustain these musicians in these very trying times. So we're about to get back to some music, but I want to remind you that in our next break, we're going to be taking some of your questions for Marcia. Use the Zoom chat window to do that. And if you want people to see your comments, you have to click on panelists and attendees. So when you're making your comments. So, all right, great. Well, thank you again for being here, Marcia. I think it's time for hear a couple more tunes. What have you got for us?
Oh God, I've got Blue House. I haven't done Blue House in a long time, but people ask. It's one of those old songs that people at gigs, at the end of the night when we're about done, then somebody will yell Blue House. I'm thinking, we don't have time. We don't play it. But anyway, I thought I might just work it up.
Right.
For this. And I'll tell you the story of Blue House. It's the title song of the album of the same name. And I was trying to get my husband to paint a picture of me. He's a painter, he's an artist. And I wanted him to do the album cover, to paint me for the album cover. And he just wouldn't. He said he doesn't do commissions. I think he just, didn't think I'd approve, or I don't know. But anyway, meanwhile, he had done this great kind of expressionistic picture of a blue house. And I said, okay, you're not going to paint me. I'm going to write a song called Blue House, and I'm putting that on the cover. And that's what I did.
Good deal.
I live all alone in a little blue house by the side of the road. Look in the window, you can see me crying in that little blue house of mine. Nobody comes to visit me. It's like the blues is a fatal disease. I spend my time just crying and moaning in that little blue house alone. We used to have so much fun sitting outside in the sun. But when my man said, I'm leaving you, well, I painted that little house blue. I leave my shades pulled up, the windows open and the doors unlocked, in case my man just happens by in a little blue house by the side of the road. Look in the window, you can see me crying in that little blue house of mine. Yes, in that little blue house of mine. Yeah, in that little blue house of mine. Okay, another one.
Please,
Short
we're all
sets here.
ears.
All ears. Okay, this is a party song. It's mentions Mardi Gras. I managed to not have every song be about Mardi Gras or New Orleans or food, but all of those elements are here in this song. And it was actually written by Mighty Mike Shermer and me, mostly Mighty Mike Shermer. It's called Life of the Party. Every night I went to see my doctor. He said, girl, you need to settle down. You can't be the life of the party. Every night, every town, I did just what he told me. And this is what I found. Clock's tick-tocking, I'm still rocking. I got a new doctor now. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. Every night, every night. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. Every night. Every day a celebration. Every night put on a show. You'll create a big sensation. And don't you know? Don't you know? You can go to the Mardi Gras. You can carry a big flambeau. You can have a fiesta down in Mexico. Mexico. Monday we go drinking and dancing. Tuesday to a picture show. Wednesday we get loaded and play some dominoes. Dominoes. Thursday we're gonna cause a commotion. Friday is a big fish fry. Saturday, Sunday, that's all one day. We're flying high, flying high. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party every night. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party every night. If you don't do it, it's never gonna happen. Foot stomping, y'all, hand clapping. You can be the life of the party every night. Woo! You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. You can be the life of the party. Woo!
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, what a treat. What a treat. Marcia Ball live here in a special KNKX virtual studio session with Life of the Party and Blue House. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Marcia, and thanks
so
for you at home tuning in tonight. We have over 1,000 people listening apparently in Maine, Canada, Oregon, Florida, Arizona, Colorado, and of course, all around Western Washington. So people all over are digging this, and it's really fun to know that we're together with people all over the country. And remember, we're taking your questions. Click on the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom window to ask a question. So I do have a couple of questions from the audience here, Marcia. Someone wants to know, Chris asks, what age did you start playing piano and what inspired your style?
I started lessons when I started school, which was probably, I was 5 or 5.5 because I started early. And my
Was it classical or?
Yeah, I was taking, kiddie classicals,
Yeah.
The first things you learn. And I took until I was 14. I took for 9 years. And, not particularly disciplined or anything, way distracted with life. But I did always feel like, well, because my grandmother played piano, and my aunt played piano, and I was just the next in line, and I just always felt like that's what. Even my great grandfather was a musician and a composer, so there was just a legacy to carry on, and so it was expected, but I didn't really, and so what inspired my style, even as early as that, I can remember trying to stretch my little hands to make an octave, and learn to boogie woogie or. That's the first boogie woogie beat I learned from my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, felt it. I enjoyed it. And I loved doing it. My grandmother played stride. She played music she was a piano player at the movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana when she was a teenager.
Can you give us a little example of what stride is like?
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm watching an old movie. That's fantastic. Okay, someone asked what someone wants to know about the alligator.
Oh, well, alligator's been my totem for a long time. And, especially when the tattooed lady and the alligator man came out. But, I'm from Louisiana and alligators are the thing. This is my friend Cricket in Baton Rouge, who loves to decorate things. She makes voodoo or, juju sticks to carry. But she decorates stuff like this, wonderful necklaces and beads and everything. So it's Mardi Gras. It's carnival time.
Nice.
What's going on in New Orleans. It's so wonderful. They can't have Mardi Gras floats.
Yeah.
So people are decorating their houses and calling it Yardi Gras.
Great.
It is great.
Right. And Alligator is your record label too, right?
And Alligator is my record label, but that came later. That was
okay.
That was meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be, really, for real. And yes, let's mention your latest album, Shine Bright, on Alligator Records. I love that. So another person is asking about your songwriting style. Is it deliberate or is it depend on inspiration? Or is it a mix of everything? Whatever. You'll take them wherever they come from.
Yeah, and you do. I write down a lot of things as, words and phrases and ideas like that. I'm definitely musically, I'm such a product of my background and my Louisiana background, and somewhere between the R&B and soul and what they call swamp pop now, and New Orleans music that I grew up with. So there's a lot of that. And then, when I was first in Austin, I actually played country music, and I had to learn every bit of that because I didn't know it. But I was fortunate enough to get in a band with some great players, and I love Western swing, which crosses all those lines to me. Mm-hmm. So, but to sit down and write a song, a lot of times I'll have a phrase or an idea or a couplet or 4 lines or something, and I'll sit down and see where it goes. And sometimes when you say the line, like life of the party, you almost know what the beat's going to be, sometimes it's just like, can you say on the road again without going on the road again? It just goes together.
Nice. So. Great. Great. Okay, here's a fun question, and then we're going to get back to the music soon. Jim asks, are there any musicians that you'd like to play with? Like someone like Trombone Shorty was an example. Is there anyone that you've always wondered that, you've always wanted to sit in with?
Well, I love Trombone Shorty, and he has taken things to a major high, the New Orleans style, and everything that he's been influenced. He comes from a very musical family and great jazz men, and so he's a party guy, but he's deep. So yeah, that he would be somebody I'd love to play with. I've had the pleasure, and I heard somebody else say this the other day, of getting to play with quite a few people over years that I admire. And I mean, I got to play with Dr. John and know Dr. John, and that's big. And
yeah,
Irma Thomas. Irma's birthday, by the way, is next week.
All right.
And I don't, like I said, a lot of people. I told you I'm not real good when you ask me who question. I'm like,
okay, well, let's don't stress about it. We're here to have fun.
I love Kev Mo, and I actually did try to write a song with Kevin, and but I'd play more with Kevin.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll put it out there. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe he's watching. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, well, I think more music, Maestra. What have you got for us?
Well, I've got a ballad. I figured I could party all night long, which I do, but I'm going to do this. It's called Human Kindness. And I wrote it for the record before Shine Bright. And I sang it to my friends, Shelley King and Carolyn Wonderland. Before it was finished, I knew, once again, the kind of inspiration thing, I knew I wanted them to sing on it and how it was going to go. And we ended up doing it one better because it was Shelley and Carolyn and Amy Helm. And we recorded the harmonies up in Woodstock. And it's, it's about, it's contrarian. I tend to write kind of contrarian songs. I've written songs about how I want it to be, like Shine Bright, or World Full of Love. In the last 4 years when things have been so dismal, I've tried to write about what we want and what we hope for. And this is one of those. This world is what we make it every day. We can try to save it or throw it away. And all that separates us are walls we have made. We've got the same dreams. We've got the same plans. We've got to raise our voices up for our fellow man. And when we open up our hearts, the light comes shining through. Human kindness flows from me and you. We're the same as one another wherever we are. Sisters and brothers under infinite stars. Children of mothers with babes in our arms. We've got the same eyes. We've got the same hands. We've got to cry for justice all over this land. And when we open up our hearts, the light comes shining through. Human kindness flows from me and you.
When we open up our hearts, the light comes shining through. Human kindness flows and compassion grows. Only heaven knows how much good we can do. When we open up our hearts, the light comes shining through. Human kindness flows from me and you.
Wow, just beautiful, just beautiful. Marcia Ball live here in a special KNKX virtual session with one of her songs, Human Kindness. Well, Marcia, I hate to say it, but we've got time for just one more song. What are you gonna leave us with?
I'm gonna rock on out of here.
All
I'm
right.
gonna party on out of here. I think, you know, you said I've been on the show like 5 times, and I have to think, what did I do? You know, when I go into the studio live, I don't want to do the same songs. I'm not sure if I've ever done this one there. I want to say before I go that I want to show y'all a little trick. 2 things. This is a mask. You need to wear your mask until you get your shot, and then you need to wear your mask some more. And this is a trick that my sound guy, Johnny Medina, showed me, which is you take one of those lanyards that you got from sneaking backstage at some event, and you put it like that, and then you can wear your mask like that, and then when you take it off, you don't have to worry about putting it in your pocket or anything. So everybody,
you should patent that. That's great.
Stay safe, please. Stay warm, and be good, be careful, and let's hope. Let's go forward.
Right.
And thank y'all. All righty?
Yeah, thank you.
And this is Boogie Woogie. Johnny Little was an outlaw with a price on his head. He shot a man in cold blood and left him for dead. They took him down to Huntsville, that's in Texas, y'all, put him in the pen. They said, you're doing your time, you gotta make amends. He said, I'm through with crime, I'm a different man. But when he finished, he was right back in it again. She was a beautiful girl with expensive taste. She dated movie stars, yes, and heads of state. She was a little bit shallow, a big hit with men. She said, I hate this life, I'm gonna change my luck. She bought a lottery ticket for $1 million and didn't win it. So she was right back in it again. Right back in it again. Now ain't that the way it's always been? It's the same old world with a different spin. Lord, you can't fight it. You know you're right back in it again. I made a resolution. I'm gonna change my ways. Start sleeping nights, yes, and working days. I'm gonna save a little money and straighten up and then. Well, along comes trouble. My best friend looks just like my second husband. He's got a bottle of gin. In a minute, I'm right back in it again. Right back
always been. It's the same old world with a different spin. Lord, you can't fight it. You know you're right back in it again. You can't fight it. You know you're right back in it again. Woo, yeah, that's right. You know you're right back in it again.
Yes, yes, yes. Again, I'm clapping for 1,000 people. Marcia Ball.
Thank y'all for
Marcia
watching.
Ball. Wow, just what a treat. We're
And
so
thank
lucky.
you for doing this great station. Thank you so much, John.
Well, it's right back at you. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for getting our Valentine's Day weekend off to such a good start.
All right.
Marcia Ball in an exclusive special KNKX virtual session. You'll be able to watch this later when it gets be posted on our KNKX YouTube channel, at the blues page at knkx.org, and at the All Blues fan site at Facebook. Check out the slideshow in just a minute for information on how to buy Marcia's latest album, Shine Bright, and also how to support HOME, Housing Opportunities for Musicians and Entertainers, and HAAM, Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. And remember, we have the Musicians Relief Fund through the Washington Blues Society here in Washington State. I want to say thanks also to our virtual events team, Justin Steyer, Brenda Goldstein, Parker Blome, and Adrian Florence. And, you know, your support is what makes KNKX Jazz, Blues, and News possible. We'll make it easy for you to do that tonight. Click on the link in the chat window to support KNKX, and we thank you so much. We've got more virtual events coming up, including one with Bird Note about winter birds in Skagit Valley. That's March 11th. So again, thanks again, Marcia Ball, and thanks to you for being with us tonight. For KNKX, I'm John Kessler, and I'll see you on the radio this weekend on All Blues. Good night.
Oh, good golly, said Miss Molly, what's happening in our land? We seem to be